let's jump right in. Picture this. You've got two Canadians, right? They're the exact same age, working similar jobs, and they both have that exact same dream of a nice, comfortable retirement. So they both commit to investing $500 every single month. Zero exceptions. They keep this up for 30 years. But here's the crazy part. When it's time to finally retire, one of them ends up sitting on a fortune that is almost double what the other one has. Literally double. Look at this staggering difference. Investor A walks away with $450,000, while Investor B is sitting on an incredible $900,000. Now, you might be thinking Investor B got lucky, or they flawlessly timed the market, or maybe they're just some kind of stock-picking wizard. Nope, not even close. The reality is, Investor B just managed to avoid one widespread investing myth that millions of Canadians still fall for today. And honestly, this single lie is quietly draining hundreds of thousands of dollars from people's lifetimes. So, in today's Explainer, we are going to completely dismantle this myth. We'll walk through the Canadian investing lie, the hard truth about dividends, the absolute power of global indexing, those sneaky hidden costs that destroy wealth, and finally, wrap it up with the ultimate playbook you need to thrive.
Module 1, the Canadian investing myth, and honestly, why it sounds so incredibly logical to most of us.
Well, as humans, we naturally just gravitate toward what we know, right? When Canadians start investing, they naturally lean toward the local companies they see every day, big Canadian banks, Enbridge, telecom giants like BCE, or the major railroads. It feels safe. You can literally step outside your front door and see these businesses in action. But this creates what we call home country bias. Think about this. The Canadian stock market represents only about 3% of the total global market. Just 3%. Yet the data tells us Canadians are keeping anywhere from 70 to 90% of their investments totally locked into Canadian companies. You're essentially betting almost all your future wealth on a tiny 3% sliver of the world. To really put that into perspective, imagine you're building a massive real estate empire, and you decide to buy 90 different businesses. But instead of picking the very best businesses from all around the globe, you buy all 90 of them in one single small neighborhood. What happens if that specific neighborhood hits a rough economic patch? Or, a new local law gets passed that hurts those shops? Your entire portfolio sinks right along with it. By keeping everything in Canada, you're taking on this massive concentrated risk without even realizing it. Moving on to Module 2, the truth about dividends and why they aren't exactly the free money everyone thinks they are. A huge reason people load up on those familiar Canadian bank and telecom stocks is for the dividend payouts. A lot of folks fall for the dividend illusion, this idea that you're just getting paid free cash for simply holding a stock. But if we break down the math step by step, it tells a totally different story. Imagine you own a share in a company that's worth $100. The company then decides to pay out a $4 dividend. Okay, before the dividend, your share value is $100. You have zero in cash, so your total wealth is $100. After they pay that dividend, the company's value actually drops by the exact amount it paid out. So now, your share's worth about $96, and you've got $4 sitting in cash. Your total wealth? It's still exactly $100. The dividend just changed the form of your wealth, from stock value to cash. It didn't magically create anything new. So the big takeaway here is that total wealth doesn't come from this illusion of free cash just popping into your account. Real, lasting wealth comes from businesses actively growing their earnings, expanding, and increasing their actual intrinsic value over decades. Fixating only on dividends, that can totally distract you from the real engine of wealth, which is long-term compound growth. Module 3. The power of global indexing and how you can literally own everything. Okay, if loading up on concentrated, local dividend stocks isn't the best move, what is? The answer to that huge wealth gap we talked about earlier isn't about guessing the right Canadian stock or perfectly timing the market. The mathematically superior strategy is beautifully simple. Just own everything. By using a single global index fund, or ETF, you instantly own a tiny piece of thousands of companies across the entire planet. You aren't just relying on your local bank anymore. You're holding Apple, Microsoft, Toyota, Nestle, Amazon, TSMC, Novo Nordisk, right alongside those Canadian companies like Royal Bank. You're automatically riding the wave of the absolute biggest, most dominant companies in the world. And let's look at what expanding globally actually does to your money over time. Historically, a highly diversified global portfolio has consistently crushed the vast majority of active stock pickers over the long haul. When you tap into global growth, your average returns historically get a nice bump. Check out these two scenarios, again, just investing $500 a month for 30 years. At an 8% annual return, you're looking at a very solid $745,000. But if shifting to a broader global portfolio bumps that return up to 10%, you don't just get a little bit more money. Thanks to compound interest and the law of large numbers, you end up with over $1.1 million. I really want to pause here for a second, because this is the exact amount at stake. Roughly $400,000. That is the chunk of wealth you are leaving entirely on the table, just by missing out on a tiny 2% increase in your average return. That right there, that is the true cost of home country bias. That's the heavy price tag of sticking to familiar names instead of just owning the whole global market.
Which brings us to Module 4, Hidden Costs and the Silent Killers Destroying Your Wealth.
Now, poor stock selection isn't the only thing quietly draining your future accounts. Even if you hold the perfect global portfolio, there are these silent killers that just eat away at your purchasing power over the decades. I'm talking about investment fees, taxes, and inflation. On paper, they look like tiny, harmless little percentages, but man, they pack a devastating punch. Let's deconstruct the math. Say your portfolio earns a really healthy 8% return. Awesome, right? But wait, you're paying a typical 2% management fee to a mutual fund manager. Boom, your return drops to 6% right out of the gate. Then you've got to factor in an average of 2% annual inflation. All of a sudden, that exciting 8% return shrinks down to a mere 4% in actual, real purchasing power. Those tiny percentages you didn't think twice about just sliced your real growth in half. Over 30 years, that is going to cost you dearly. And this is exactly why defending your money against these hidden costs isn't just optional, it's absolutely mandatory. It's not just about what you buy, it's hugely important where you hold it. By taking full advantage of Canadian tax-advantaged accounts, like the tax-free savings account, the RRSP, or the first home savings account, you are letting your wealth compound completely sheltered from the taxman. Honestly, picking the right account often matters just as much as picking the right global index fund. Module 5, your ultimate investing playbook and how you can thrive in literally any economy. All right, we've covered a ton of ground here, busting myths and exposing the actual math. Now let's tie it all together. Being a successful investor over a lifetime, it's not about digging for that one perfect stock or trying to predict the next crazy crypto trend or staring at financial news all day long. It is all about building a robust, automated portfolio designed to survive and thrive no matter what the economy throws at it. It perfectly echoes this idea. The biggest investing lie isn't that Canadian companies are bad. The lie is believing that's all you need. A lot of Canadian businesses are fantastic, highly profitable operations. But chaining your entire financial future to one small geographic spot is just an unnecessary risk when the entire global market is sitting right there at your fingertips. So, your ultimate playbook really just boils down to 5 incredibly simple habits. Number 1, diversify globally. Own the world's biggest companies. Number 2, be ruthless about keeping your fees low. Use index ETFs instead of those overpriced mutual funds. Number 3, invest consistently every single month, totally ignoring whatever the market happens to be doing that day. Number 4, give compounding the decades it needs to work its absolute magic. And number 5, use your TFSA and RSP wisely to keep your money perfectly shielded from taxes. These simple, almost boring habits have historically destroyed those complicated, stressful active trading strategies over and over again. So now you've got the blueprint. You know how to break the myth and capture that global growth. But I want to leave you with one final, pretty provocative thought. You know what to buy. You know you need to dodge those fees. But once you've actually built this beautifully diversified global machine, how do you structure it so it is 100% tax efficient? Because I promise you, making a mistake there can trigger a massive, totally unnecessary tax bill. That is a massive topic on its own, and it perfectly sets up our next explainer, where we're going to dive super deep into avoiding the most brutal tax mistakes investors make. Until then, stay focused, stay invested, and keep learning.